This is the plaintiff, Stalin. He says the defendant rented a room from him, and she's not paying the rent, and even though there's a pandemic, he needs his money. He's suing for the $2,110 he says he's owed. This is the defendant, Marie. She says she went to visit her sister in another state, and when Corona hit, the plaintiff told her she couldn't come back to the room she rented. Then, President Trump instituted a rent freeze, and she feels she owes nothing due to the circumstances. She's accused of living rent-free.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff says that the defendant is not paying her rent and he needs the money stat. But the defendant says the plaintiff told her she wasn't allowed to come back to the apartment because she went to visit her sister who tested positive for COVID and she owes nothing. It's the case of no one lives rent-free.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
Okay, Mr. Stalin, you're suing the defendant for $2,010 that you say she still owes you in rent. She was your tenant, correct?
Yes.
And when did she move in? Do you remember?
She moved in June 15, 2019.
Okay, and you were renting a room to her, and who else lived in that place, in that home? You and your wife?
Yes, correct.
All right. So she had been paying rent and everything was fine, and then Corona hits, and what happens?
She stopped paying rent, and I guess she used the pandemic as an excuse because even though I know it was a pandemic, I still was working and paying my rent.
Okay, and was she working?
She claims she wasn't working, and I keep on receiving pay stubs, I guess, or something that looks like pay stubs to the address through the mail weekly.
All right, so now she left town in when? In April?
Yes.
Okay, and where did you go, Ms. Marie? Where'd you go?
I actually left town in March. I went to Florida
okay.
for my sister's birthday. Yes.
All right, and did you pay any of April rent?
I did, actually. I have the receipts. I paid $400 for April.
Okay, and was that the last time you paid rent?
Yes.
Okay, but you were still there in May, June, July, and August?
No. So when I came back from Florida in March, I came back the 16th. I stayed with my boyfriend at his house because Stalin had told me that him and his wife both had coronavirus. So I was unable to go to my room. And why would I
hold
want
on
to go
one
back?
second. Is that true? Did you guys get sick, Mr. Stalin?
Yes, we did.
Okay, so that was when?
They told me, I think, in April.
How long were you sick, Mr. Stalin?
It was about 10 days already.
Okay.
I almost completed the 2 weeks, and while I was quarantined, I was cleaning and disinfecting everything all the time.
Right. Did you get tested to have a negative test?
Yes.
When?
After 2 weeks and a half, and it tested negative.
Okay.
I wasn't notified about them ever testing negative.
Well, when did you come back, though? Because you left all your stuff there for 3 months. I mean, you came in and out during those 3 months. You didn't move out. You didn't go in there all suited up with a mask and take all your stuff and say adios. You left your stuff there, and you would come back and forth all the way through August to the point where his wife ended up calling your father to try to get you out because you weren't paying rent, right?
Well, actually, I wasn't there at all until I came back.
Was your stuff
Florida.
there?
It was there, but they had access to the room. If they wanted to throw me out, they could have taken my stuff out. I wasn't living there.
No, they can't. It's illegal. They can't do that. No, they can't throw your stuff out. Did you set foot in there between April and August?
Once before I went to Florida on May 6th to pack my bag.
Except for you didn't move out in May. So you still didn't move out. You went back there and you still didn't move out. In August, his wife is begging your father to get you to move out, right?
That is
What's your
not true.
defense?
And
Okay. Oh, it is true. Hold on one second, just a moment. You want me to play the tape of her and your father, or you want me to just let it go?
I would like to hear it.
Okay.
I'm going to have her move out ASAP. She'll be out within a week. Yeah, because
Okay.
when she was in Florida, she texted me on May 29, letting me know that she got a job offer and
Yeah.
that she was going to start making some payments, you
Yeah, I
know?
know. The whole deal fell through. She's having a very difficult time. Let me
But
move her
she
out.
haven't been spending time here. She haven't been sleeping here.
No, huh?
She been sleeping in other people's houses, her boyfriend's house, or sometimes she would come really late, drunk.
Right.
You know, like, I don't mind what she does in her personal life is her business, but you know,
All right.
one thing or
She'll be
another.
I promise she'll be out by this time next week. Give her 1 week, all right?
All right.
1 week.
All right.
All right, thank
What's
you.
gonna happen with the balance that she owns?
Well, I'm trying to get her a job. We're trying to make some moves and pull some favors with friends and family to help out. And as
Okay.
soon as something happens, I'll get back to you. I got your number now, okay?
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Okay, so God bless him. Your dad tells her, we're trying to get her a job. We're trying to make some moves so that we can get you paid. Except that doesn't happen. And your defense, tell me your defense.
Welcome back to the People's Court. These are strange times. The question, is the defendant allowed to live rent-free, or is the defendant simply taking advantage of a bad situation involving the pandemic? Let's go back into the courtroom.
Prior to moving in, I paid $350 because I moved in half the month of June. There was no security deposit ever mentioned. July 1st comes, I pay my rent, and they hit me with a bunch of rules they wrote up on a piece of paper that they called their lease. I had some of the rules where I couldn't have guests over. I didn't have access to the living room. We had to share the bathroom, obviously. And then there was a security deposit owed of $350. So I think, knowing my family moved to Florida, I was up here by myself. I feel that they kind of took advantage of me in that aspect with, because when my parents paid the $350 for me to move in June, they met my family. We discussed them moving and everything. And then July 1st comes and I have a bunch of rules out of nowhere and a security deposit that I owe out of nowhere. So
Did you have a lease?
It was a month-to-month lease. They wrote up a bunch of rules on a piece of paper and we signed it, whatever. I ended up paying off the $350 monthly on top of my $700 that was for the room to rent.
So what's the total security deposit that you paid?
$350.
What is your defense to paying the rent for the rest of April, May, June, July, and August, which is what they're suing you for?
First off, I wasn't able to go to the apartment because they had coronavirus. And second, I wasn't living
Well,
there.
they didn't have it for 5 months. Just a second. If you choose to sleep at your boyfriend's, that's up to you. If you don't move out, you're still living there. It's not a hotel. It's a rental. And they can't rent it to someone else because your stuff is there. So what is your defense besides what you've said?
Trump also issued that you did not have to pay rent during the time of the pandemic. He signed
Trump said
something
what?
saying, yeah, you didn't have to pay rent. If you weren't unable to pay rent, you did not have to.
What he said is you will not be evicted. So some people take that to mean, woohoo, bonus, just don't pay rent. And some people are struggling and can't. There's lots of different kinds of people in this continuum. And one of the people are the people who have a mortgage to pay and taxes to pay and all that stuff. But there is no presidential free pass. What was said is no one's going to remove you from your house right now. So in other words, there's no penalty for you right now. Now, you've chosen to take that to mean that because you're not going to get punished, then you can get away with it. Well, now I just don't have to do it, but that's not accurate. People still owe the rent. All right, let's talk about, tell me again, when you came back, it was March, and what was the date? March what, Ms.
March
Marie?
16th.
16th, and you had paid March in full.
Yes.
So you stay away from the apartment until you end up, do you ever call her and say, hey, we got negative tests?
No, I didn't because she was never around, and I got tested March 27th on a Friday at my job.
You were positive March 27th on a Friday?
Yes.
When was your negative test?
Like 2.5 weeks later.
Okay, well, you have her phone number. Why didn't you guys let her know, hey, we're negative, you can come back?
Because like I said, she was barely home. And
what does that have to do with it? If she needs to come home to get clothes, then you should tell her. When was the next time you heard from her in the month of April?
I think when she, like around May right after she went to Florida.
I was in Florida from May 6th
Yeah.
till June 20th. I'd like to add something. When he
Sure.
said he only lived in the apartment with his wife, when summer came around, I had realized that there was 5 kids in the house living there out of nowhere. When I wasn't able to even have a guest over or sit in the living room. They had 5 kids I didn't even know about running around the house. So,
Who were the kids who were there?
They're my
Mr.
stepkids. My stepkids, and they only came for 4 days.
Okay. I find as follows. First of all, the fact that you can do something and you can get away with it doesn't mean that you're legally excused from doing it. There's a distinction. You can get away with not paying your rent, but eventually you are going to have to pay it. So let's talk about what you owe and what you don't owe. I do not believe that you owe a half month's rent for an amount of time where people are sick and you can't use the place, okay? I am going to give you a half a month credit for while they were sick and you judiciously stayed away. There's also a security deposit. I am going to give you credit for the $350. And the total amount that you owe in rent is $2,050. That is still remaining, okay? And you have to pay that. I am going to issue a judgment against you. So I wish you luck. And Mr. Stalin, I wish you luck. Did you re-rent the place or no?
No, I haven't. I returned back to work, and they gave me a little raise, so I'm kind of like
Oh, good for you. And Ms. Marie, were you able to get a job in New York?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good for you. All right, folks, I wish you all the best of luck. Verdict for the plaintiff, $2,050.
So the judge orders the defendant to have to pay up $2,050. Marie, what do you think about that?
It is what it is.
Where are you? You living okay now? You know, where are you now?
I'm fine. Mm-hmm.
All right, very good. Well, good luck to you. All right.
Thank you.
Mr. Stallings, I assume you're glad you sued her. You probably wouldn't be getting this without a lawsuit, would you?
Yeah, you're right.
You feel sorry for her?
I mean, I do. I wish everything, we could have worked things out. But like I said, I had to pay rent. I was struggling at that time, but now I'm okay. Pretty much, I could afford my apartment now.
Yeah. All right. All right, let's see what the judges have to say about this case. Here they are.
When I was a young man, my father used to say, there's no such thing as a free lunch. And I guess that remains unchanged because, some people have that misperception that during this unfortunate COVID pandemic that's wrecked so many people's lives, you might not be evicted during the short term, but over the long term, you are going to be accountable for the rent.
Absolutely.
Right? Obviously, no public official, elected or otherwise, can just forgive rent.
No.
It really can't be done.
They can't give away other people's money.
Exactly.
Olivia wants to know this. Hey, Harvey, how does jurisdiction work at the People's Court if the case comes from all over the country? Which laws do the judge use? Well, the judge uses the laws from the state where it was filed, and the result could be different depending on the state, but that's the way justice works in the United States of America.